Good morning and welcome to the Learning Pro Live. My name is Cath Ellis and I am going to be talking to you today about a topic I get asked about all the time, which is how do you go about branding your own e-learning business? So I'm really excited about talking about this topic. If you've got any questions, I'm the normal script. I'm here to answer your questions. So I'm just going to take you through basically my process. All right, so let's just start. So I started my e-learning business officially. I quit my job in 2016, my apologies. And I had a lot of things in place already, but I know a lot of you are wanting to transition into freelancing full-time. You don't have anything in place, or you may have a portfolio in place. So I'm just going to take you through basically what I did to go about getting my brand ready to a consistent brand, and it's constantly been tweaking. So I've had my website for a long, long time. I actually went on Wayback Machine to see if I could find old versions of my websites, and it's kind of saved them in a weird HTML format rather than a format that I could show you, unfortunately. So my logo, for example, has gone through a number of iterations, but the logo that I've got right now that I really, really like, I've had since 2016. So now, apologies if I have some very, very naughty dogs in the background. They are causing a ruckus already, but we'll just go with it, okay? So those of you who are tuning in, where are you tuning in from? Where are you at in your freelance journey? Have you got a portfolio, or have you got a website? Have you already got an e-learning business? Are you wanting to tweak it? Tell me, okay? So, all right, so the first thing that I did when I was thinking about starting my own freelance business was really defining my own brand. It was really important. I wanted to really work out who I was going to market my wares to and what kind of services I wanted to market. And one of those things that I did was define my values, right? It's not something that a lot of freelancers do, but I thought that it was really important for me. I'm quite a character. If you know me in real life, I'm quite vocal about my hatred for bad e-learning. So I didn't want to be, I didn't want to contradict myself. For so long, I had been so passionate about developing and, providing really good learning solutions. I was like, I just don't want to do that in my own business. Now, we've had a comment from Michelle. You guys are very quiet. You have to give me some stuff here. Michelle says, I'm just starting to write online courses. Okay, cool. So you're at the start of your journey. So hopefully some of these tips are going to help you even in your journey, Michelle, writing online courses. Okay, I don't know if you're writing courses to sell or if you're writing courses to for other people. There's values that you've got as a person. You're ethical, right? And you want to stand by that in your business as well, I think. It's really important. So like I said, it was really important for me to look at values. So how did I go about doing that? Well, let's take a look. Okay, just bear with me a moment. I'm going to share my screen as I always do. Some of the things that I did was I actually just decided to do a bit of research on other companies. When I actually did a search for freelancers' values, I couldn't find very much. I've got a couple more comments here. So I've got loads coming in. Hang on a second. So Rodrigo from Uruguay. Hi, Rodrigo. Says it's 10 p.m. here, so I may leave before the end. Oh, well, thank you very much, Rodrigo. I appreciate it. I'm going to share as much. And if you miss it, Rodrigo, you can always watch it on replay. It's on the YouTube channel. So if you just subscribe, if you miss an episode, you'll be able to get a notification and find the link. Okay, so I'm going to talk about portfolios as well. So I'll just park that while I'm talking about branding. But I'm going to come back. And if you don't know already, I do a regular slot on portfolios. So I'm going to come back to portfolios, okay? But good point, okay? Yeah, okay. I want to know how to first set expectations with a vendor, review cycles, timelines, costs. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a session, Chris, specifically on how I do a proposal. I'm going to do a proposal live with you guys so you can see exactly what I say. And I'm even going to do a session on conversations that I have with a client. Like, what do I bring up first? Do I go through the whole rigmarole of talking to them and pussyfoot around the whole thing of budgets, or do I just get straight into it and say, what's your budget? And if they don't have a budget, well, you're wasting time talking to them. So, Chris, good one. I'm going to talk about this. This session, I'm talking about branding, right? How to go about branding your own business. So, but this is a good one, and I'm going to keep a note of this because it's on my list already. Okay, so you're selling courses to your Montessori guide. Okay, great, Michelle. Mark says, I've got lots of experience working for others, no idea how or where to find contact work that would help me switch to working for myself. Okay, no problem, Chris. Gotcha. Okay, great. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Okay, so you'll hopefully find this series helpful because I'm going to just lay it out there and talk to you about my experience on my freelance journey. Okay. This session, I'm talking about branding your own business. But if you guys really want me to go off that, I can go off that, but I want to try and stay focused on this topic as much as I can. So as far as finding values, right? Mission, vision, values are normally in a business. They're not a freelancer, but I wanted to define mine myself. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a mission and a vision on my website, but I do have values because I felt that it would really give a message to my clients who I was and what I was about. So what I did, I'm just going to share my screen. I did a little bit of research on what, oh, that doesn't look good. Let me try again. That looks much better. Okay, so I basically did some searching. So freelancer values. Okay, nothing was really coming up. But I was seeing some core values, some generic things about values of freelancers. So I started looking at business values examples, and certainly there was companies that popped out, at Latterson. I started seeing some generic values here, and they showed some companies. So if we just have a look at this one, there's some examples here of organizations, Southwest, Deloitte, KPMG. And I started looking at things like at Latterson, right? So they got their values, which I loved. They really kind of resonated with me, open company, no bullshit, build with heart and balance, don't bleep the customer, play as a team, be the change you seek, right? So my values that I put together, I talked about in the last episode, they were basically, innovation, honesty, things like that. Okay. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to focus on. identifying and defining my own brand. Okay. I also wanted to define what kind of product am I going to be. It kind of went together. What kind of product do I want to sell? Now, easy way I could have gone about this, and it's not easy in the beginning, guys. When you start as a freelancer, you're not just going to have ASOP knocking on the door saying, I've got $30,000 to create a course. It's not as simple as that. You're going to have companies who are going to reach out to you, and the learning experiences are, they're going to be very different, right? And you're going to go, yeah, so sorry, I just got Angela asked a question about computers. I'll get back to you in a second, Angela. So, you're going to have people reaching out to you who are going to be saying things like, okay, we've got this PowerPoint and I just want this made in, basically, I want a digital version of this PowerPoint, want it put in Storyline, and that's it, right? And I've got a budget of nothing, okay? And you're going to say to yourself, is this something that I really want to do? Is this a good learning experience? Let's just put some extra levels of horrificness on top of it, that it's an hour long, that they want voiceover narration, reading out every single word on the page, that they want every single screen locked, and all the things that as a learning designer you just absolutely hate. I said to myself, I'm not making that stuff, right? And I've been spending a bit of time talking to people like Devlin Peck. We've been talking every week for the last 6 months. We've talked about this. Do you want to take on a job, or would you rather invest that time working on your brand to make it stronger, right? So that you can present yourself in a different way for your clients, and you get better clients coming in. So if you can define yourself in your website, who you are, what you're about, it'll be likely that you'll turn people away, right? They'll be less inclined to come to you with certain work and come with a higher end work, right? So it's just been a really interesting conversation that Devlin and I have been really honing in on. So, I was thinking about what are going to be the benefits and the features of my services. And I wanted to think about so I wanted to present myself in a way that customers would go, oh, this looks quite well put together. It's got a nice logo, etc. Again, I wanted to send a message so I get I get more higher end clients coming to me. Okay. So, okay, let's just get to it. I'm going to share a website, and I'm going to start talking about logos. Now, just in between, Angela, you said, what computer do you recommend to handle the work of the software needed and any other valuable equipment? I thought it might be timely. Black Friday. Okay, good question, Angela. So when I started, I got a MacBook Pro, a fairly specced out MacBook Pro. I had a 2013 in 2016. But I was like, okay, this is still working fine. I'd updated the RAM on it. But when I started my own business, I did get a MacBook Pro. I partitioned it and I put parallels on it. So it allowed me to do articulate storyline, and it allowed me to do my, to kind of have the Mac side as well. A couple of years later, I bought a an MSI PC because I was doing a bit of work with Oculus Rift, and I wanted to have a Oculus Rift ready computer, and the Mac could not handle that. Now that computer I bought with a lower level of RAM, okay, and my computer struggles even with a number of windows open. It struggles. So I was kind of stupidly juggling a Mac, which was a MacBook Pro MSI, and I've now just bought a Dell Windows Tower, right, which is a beast. Okay, so it depends on the kind of work that you want to do, Angela. Okay, are you doing? So I'm doing live streaming. I'm doing fairly intensive stuff like After Effects, editing videos, as well as my e-learning. What I'd say to you is, most e-learning designers who use Articulate Storyline, you'll find that they're using Windows, right? I don't particularly like Windows. I like Mac. I'd prefer to be in Mac, but Articulate Storyline. So my suggestion to you, I'm a bit of a cheapskate, right? I always have to listen to my wife. She tells me, don't be cheap, spec it out as what you might need in the future. And I go, no, I'm not going to need that. And of course I need it. So spend as much as you can to get a good machine that's going to last you. So what I mean by that is, RAM. I find 8 gigabytes of RAM isn't enough. Try and get 16 at least. The SSD, I found 512 on my MacBook wasn't enough to partition parallels and have the Mac component. So try and kind of, try and get something that's a terabyte if you can. All right. You can also carry around a what's it called? Western Digital, but you'll find that it's going to be a problem. So I got the Dell XPS Tower, the new one, but I've gone through way too many computers, and it's because I haven't really organized myself too well. So hope that helps. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about logos. Okay. This is my current logo. Okay. Fairly simple. When I scroll down, I've got this icon. Basically, this is my icon that I use as my fav icon. But I use it all together as a logo. So I've kind of got that as a full logo. And there's lots of trends at the moment that are using just the icon, like for a mobile logo. Okay. And this has worked really well for me. But how did I go about my journey doing this logo, right? Well, simply put, I started on Dribbble, right? I wanted to basically look and see what other people were doing. And if I can actually find him, there was a guy. Let me see if I can find it. There was a guy that inspired me. Now, is this him? No. It's a shame I never thought about that. But there was basically a guy that inspired me. And I was going and he had a very, very similar logo. And I like the way, so if you see my logo is a C and an E. Okay. And that just worked great for me. Right. So I was kind of going through logos and seeing, okay, this is business logos, right? So if I can put here name logos, okay, where people have kind of merged letters, you know, so I kind of went through this process of looking through different logos. Now, I should have said before, I had already made the decision, guys, that I didn't want to be a company. I wanted to be a freelancer. I did have a number of business names that I really, really liked. But at the time, I already had not a name out there, but I had a lot of people going to my website already, and people knew Cath Ellis. And I felt like, okay, I could start another company, and I can choose a company name. In fact, I should have talked about this before looking at logos. Yeah, I'm gonna jump onto something and show you something different. So let's just have a look at that. Let's just skip over that a little bit. Sorry, guys, I'm jumping all over the place. So Cath Ellis, all right. I wanted to, if I was on that journey, if I was you and I was wanting to know, is my name available? This is a great website. It's called Name Checker, right? And I see a lot of people do things like they think of a business name and then, you know, so there's a company called ISIS, right? Right. ISIS.com or something. No. Okay. So I see some businesses and they are named and they are not, you know, basically it's unfortunate, right? So they've got a name that a celebrity has got, or they've got a name, or they've picked a name in their country that already has a company with a massive brand out there, right? So, you know, when you're thinking about building a brand, I think websites like this are really, really good. So if you guys want to give me, I know we've got quite a few people tuning in. Give me a name of something. Just make something up, okay? I'm just going to be a bit silly, and I'm going to call a business, because I'm just being silly here, click next to continue, okay? I'm just going to call it click next to continue. And let's just go. Okay, so I'm doing a search. Okay, so this is really interesting. So if that was the business name that I was wanting to choose, right, this is telling me what's available. So all these domains are available. If something is blue, means it's unavailable. And what's quite nice is you should be able to click on some of these and they'll go straight through to the actual domain. So you can see click next to continue is this YouTube channel, right? And I hope this is making sense, guys. Okay, so that's a Nothing Burger, Reddit, WordPress. So this looks like no brand owns the name click next to continue. So one of the challenges that you're going to have, so see here that you've got the yellow, username is too long, maximum is 15 characters. So you know that if you wanted to have a nice consistent brand, let's say you're wanting to call your business click next to continue, please don't call your business that would be awful. But I should say there is a great podcast that talks about e-learning by my friend Raf that is called click next to continue, but it's ironic, right? So this is giving you some warnings. So you might go, okay, I'm thinking about refining that. So let's just go. You have your business name idea and you're going to refine it a little bit. So what you need to do is refresh it, and we're going to call this next to continue. Okay. Guys, let me know if this is all making sense or if you want me to go into more detail. All right. So you can see here that the Twitter isn't available for this. someone else is called, oh, it's Raf. Click next to continue. Great podcast, by the way, guys. You should tune in and listen to his podcast. Okay, so he's got next to continue. Right, but this is a brand that's got nearly everything. And what's really, I think, quite important is if you're thinking about choosing a business name, that you try and get everything, right? It's a bit excessive. You don't need to buy all the domains. You certainly want to try and buy, even if you're in Australia, a .com, right? As well as a .com.au. And you want to try and get Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, what else? I do Pinterest. I would get a Slack channel. I would basically get everything that's free and try and get it, because this is all going to help you generate your SEO. Okay. Now, why is that important? If someone goes to the web, right, and types in next to continue, probably a bad name, but if there's a business that's already got all of these, but you're in Australia and you're like, yeah, but the Australian domain's free, and you haven't gone down the process of looking at all this stuff, you might find that you're not at the top of the website, right? Yeah, Brenton, it's really, this is a resource that I have done now. I've created a number of websites for clients and also for myself. You know, Janine and I, our disability business, we have a company called Coability. We went through this. You know, we went through a whole process of all these names that we liked, and just they were affiliated with weird things, you know, so maybe not everything was available. They were affiliated with things that I was like, oh, I think we need to rethink this name. So when you're thinking about it and you want to go down this route of a business name, this is what I do. And this is the first step, right? So you're then going to have to go, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm in Australia and our process is different, but you're going to have to register your business name in your own country. Okay. And I'll see if I can find a better video to kind of go through that, because I'd rather just continue to focus on this. So what do you guys think? You're very quiet. Let me know if you think that this is something that is useful. This is what I would do. So Angela McGuigan, let's have a look at Angela, for example, and see about her availability of her name. So we've got Angela. We want it all together. McGuigan. Angela's tuning in. Have I spelled that right? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so angelamcguigan.com is not available. XYZ isn't available. Facebook isn't available. Twitter, Blogger, Reddit, eBay. So if you're a little bit later coming in on this, Angela, and I don't know where you're tuning in from. It doesn't say you're tuning in from LinkedIn, but I don't know what country you're in. You might go, okay, so Angela already owns the domain. Okay, let's have a cheeky look at Angela's website. Well, oh no. Let me see if I can work out. What's going on, Angela? 502 bad gateway. Okay, so, but you own it, right, Angela? And you probably own a number of these things as well. So it's hard because if you haven't done this a long time ago, some of these domains might have gone, but you might go for your social media, you know, Cath Ellis AU, right? For your Facebook, Twitter, Blogger. What I do is for my personal, I have Cath Ellis. And for my business Facebook page, I go Cath Ellis .com, like all fully spelled out. So that helps me get my business, get business URLs, right? So I'm hoping that this is useful, because this was the process that I went through. So I said, I don't want to have a business. I don't want to hire anyone. I want this to just be me as a freelancer. So I'm going to call it Cath Ellis. Okay, cool. So I knew that I needed to focus on finding a logo that worked for me. Now, obviously, the logos are pretty phenomenal that are out here right now, but this gives you a lot of inspiration. How are you guys with logos? Have you got a custom logo? Have you just used your name? Are you wanting to change it? So I'm just out of interest. Okay. So here we go. We've got lots of inspiration. We've got D's. You can see that that's an M, K's, Z, right? Okay. Here we go. So there's lots of inspiration here. So I kind of went down this route, looking at Dribbble. I bookmark things. So Brenton's saying, don't have one yet. Okay, Brenton. Okay, but I feel I go with my name. And you know what? I wouldn't discourage it, because for those of you who are worried, will people go to a freelancer? I've had so many companies come to me and say, we actually don't want to go to an e-learning company. They make things that are way too generic. We want to come to someone who will love and nurture our product and give us what we need, not what they think we need. Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of benefits of being a freelancer. The amount of times that I had arguments where I've worked, I don't think this is the right solution for the client. We haven't done a needs analysis. The client has dictated to us. I'm able to now, as a freelancer, go into a business and be able to have very frank conversations and do interviews and basically do that needs analysis. And a lot of the time, the solution ends up changing, but it's a better solution. And I just love what I do every day. And I'm hoping that this series will give you guys the confidence to go, to do it, and to be able to create, obviously, the best learning experiences that you can and love what you're doing at the same time. So, right, good one, Brendan. So you're going to go with name as well, like me. So Dribbble was a great source of inspiration. And then I went to websites like Freepik, okay? And also Theme Forest will be another one that I'll show you. So here I've just typed in logos, and, you know, it's all very generic. Now I want to warn you against something, guys. Freepik, you actually cannot use these logos as your logo. Now, I didn't know this until recently. So there's copyright, let's see, copyright information. And I want you to just warn you against this. Let's go Freepik using logos. Logo use. So you just have to be careful, all right? Users are not authorized to use Freepik resources fully or partially to create logo types, as our images cannot be associated with trademarks, real businesses, and organizations. Please note that our images have copyright that belongs to Freepik and which we do not sell, so you cannot legally register them or use them to represent a brand. Also, a user is free to download exactly the same resource, which means that more than one person could be using the same logo type, and that's not possible since the logo types are unique registered images. You can use our logo resources as an inspiration for a design, as part of a design, not associated to a logo, as an avatar or for a forum or community, or a demo for a catalog, among other uses. Right. So I hope this is helpful, because you can't use these as your logos. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that there's going to be people who watch this video who'll go, crap, I'm using one of these as my business. So, you know, certainly use it to give you inspiration. But as far as using it for other things, that's not going to be possible. So you've got lots of really great logos here. I mean, this stuff, I would use this in a heartbeat, right? So you've got lots of examples of business logos. Let's have a quick look at letter logos. Okay. So again, we've got some really great options here. You know, that you can think of. And while you're doing this, you can think about the kind of fonts that you want to pair up. So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole looking at different people's branding and fonts. So I use the font Poppins. Okay. Right. So I thought this looked very clean. It had all different weights that I could use. It's a Google font, Poppins. And I actually used it in my logo. And you can see that I've split up my first name from my last name. So it was really nice to read. And I've got my little logo. Now, I do design on the side. This is easy for me to do. But for some people, you're not going to find this easy. I would seriously suggest that if you like a logo, it costs nothing to reach out and ask someone, hey man, how much would it cost for you to do me a logo? If you have a logo and you've got someone who can do you a bit of a design system, okay? So my design system's fairly simple. I've got a number of colors that I use. I've got my hero color, I've got my black, I've got a gray, I've got a white, I've got my font that I've chosen, I've got my logo, and I've been able to do some kind of treatments. So even the Learning Pro Live, I've got my, bear with me, it's obviously very slow today. I've got this image that I'm using as well. So it doesn't take much to build yourself a little brand, a little design system that you can use on all of your resources. Okay. So again, it says so much, I think, when you've got a consistent brand. So whether you're on YouTube or, LinkedIn, Twitter, you've got this consistent brand across everything, and people know, oh yeah, that's Cath Ellis, So you could reach out to these designers. There's lots of junior designers out here, and there's obviously a lot of high-end designers as well. So next thing that I'll talk about is kind of going into what I'm trying to think who asked the question. Someone asked a question about what makes a great, here you go. What makes a remarkable portfolio and where should you house it? Well, I'm not going to go too far into this, but I wanted to see basically what other designers were doing. Okay, so this is not learning design. This is UX design that I'm specifically looking at, but I'm going to say that if you're a learning experience designer, you should be taking cues from a lot of these different types of portfolios. This is bestfolios.com. Okay. And, you know, this again gave me a lot of inspiration looking at the different websites. So let me just see if I can filter some of these. I want to have a look at also this is actually filtering businesses that people work for. Okay, let's have a look. I don't really want to do that. Portfolios. Okay, so let's have a look at this chap here. Right, and let's just open the link. Do I just click it? All right. He's got a very minimal logo. Right. He's got his name, what he does. Product design manager at Facebook Messenger, former Google Daydream, Inbox, Gmail, and Sparrow. Right. So he's obviously got different projects that he's worked on. I think this is just an image. Let me go out of this. See if I can go into the live website. Where is it? Open portfolio. Might even find it's been updated since then. Yeah. So he's changed a few things up. Okay. So for me, I didn't want to go and look at other learning designers' websites. I wanted to go and look at what really created an impression and wanted to look at what user experience designers were doing. It's so in line with learning experience design. Some people will disagree with that, but this is where I went for my source of inspiration. Okay. So here you've got projects that he's obviously showcasing. Okay, what else has he got? Oh, up here. Okay, so he's got about. Okay, so he's talked about himself, office hours. So what has he got? A Calendly. Yeah. I mean, I've got a Calendly as well. Articles, talk, social. So I don't know what he's built this in. And he's obviously got products that he sells as well. So that's one example. Let's have a look at another one. Okay, so what's this? I'm trying to look for something that's really going to, spark my attention. So here, okay, again, so he's not got a logo, right? What's he got up here? He's got nothing. He's got no logo. Works at Google. Wonder what he's built that with. Let's have a look. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, I don't have it anymore. Okay. Yeah, really nice, clean design. What has he got up at the top? So he's got nothing. He's just got through to his social medias. Okay. This looks quite nice. Let's just have one more look at this. Okay, so this looks really nice. So he's got his name, even things like this, guys. So it all helped me work out what I needed to do. So Mark looks like he's got a fav icon that he's using, that he's incorporated into here, but he's not got a logo, right? So the question is it really necessary for you to have a specific logo? I personally think that you should try and put together. Yes, Sonica says sometimes a logo type is enough. Yeah. So, you can see that this was just pop-ins that I used, okay? Yes, I have a logo type, but this could have been enough. So again, it really is about the kind of look and feel that you want to have. Now, again, I'm looking at these portfolios of people, but they're not really freelancers. So let's see if we go freelancer. Okay, so this will give you some ideas of freelancers out there. Again, a lot of them are graphic designers, but they're enough to give you some inspiration. All right. Okay, so let's just turn this off a second. And let's go on to brand messaging. Okay. So it was really important. And again, guys, if you've got any questions about this, please let me know. Right. I'm just going to jump back over to this, because I think this is a question that a lot of people, again, are really torn. What do I call myself? Instructional designer, learning experience designer, e-learning designer. And I'm a little bit all over the place. And again, I do it for SEO purposes, to be quite honest with you. So instructional designer is a very old-fashioned term. I'm not just an instructional designer. However, I know that's what a lot of people are still looking for. They're searching for that term. I focus more on when I advertise my position, learning experience design. But essentially, I think they're a very similar thing for me. But for some people, if you just focus on writing storyboards, doing the needs analysis, but you don't do any development, you might not put one of these other terms. Okay. So what I'd say is you're going to have to really think about how you go about advertising yourself. I kind of use multiple terms for SEO purposes to allow people to find me rather than just to find one. So because so many people still look for the term instructional designer, that is the reason that I've got that there. But I've tried to define my message down here, you know, in a very conversational way. I've said, I'm not like normal run-of-the-mill instructional designers. I can do end-to-end, but I can also do components for you. I've said here, I can design you a bespoke learning model, bespoke blended learning, social learning, mobile learning, including consultancy, implementing learning strategies, designing templates, implementing a learning portal, or even developing you a marketing strategy, right? So again, you have to have a think about how exactly are you going to word your offering, okay? And again, thinking a little bit about the services that you want to offer. And this can be something, guys, that you just keep tweaking and you keep changing. So Brenton had a good question here about what did you build your website portfolio in? And I'll talk about that in a second, Brenton. I'll leave it on the screen, okay? So services, you know, so what I put here is there are hundreds of solutions that are available to help you create behavioral change within your business. Here are some of the main services I offer and the different ways that I can assist you. So again, it's like I'm talking to you, right? So you got to think about the language that you're going to use. Are you going to be really just conversational? Are you going to be formal? I personally like being conversational. So again, I've talked about education consultancy, yada, yada, yada. You can go and you can have a look at this. But these are the main things that I offer. Nearly all of the work that I get, someone comes in wanting bespoke e-learning, and it will drop into it will end up falling into these other kind of characters or something else. Okay. Brenton, I'll come back to you. Okay, Sonica just said, where else can we include SEO terms beside our title? I find that I'm working in different roles providing much the same service. Okay, so remember, Sonica, that when you're doing your SEO, okay, you're wanting to make sure. So on this page, I have to make sure that this is called a slug, right? So my slug is the same as the is basically things are matching. So my slug is matching my heading, and it is also it's going to rank you on when Google starts scanning your website. Where does this term fall in? Okay, it's not asking you to do the term multiple times, but it's asking you to do a number of things. So you've got the slug, you've got the heading, you've got when it scans the page, but it's also asking you to match it in your meta description. So Brenton, this was built with WordPress, okay? And basically I use a tool called SEO by Yoast, and it has like a ranking tool. And when I'll do a session specifically on SEO for you guys, okay? But it gives you a little indicator of, have you got everything, is basically everything looking good on your page? Is your slug matching? Have you got the term? Have you got internal or external links on the page? That helps you. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get a perfect SEO, but these things certainly help Google rank your page so your clients can find you. Okay. Hi, Troy. How are you? Yeah, so you use Learning Experience Designer. As I find I'm all over the place, do lots of roles, it fits better. Exactly. So, really mine is a strategic, it's maybe not the best, but I'm using it so if people try and search me under multiple terms, they can find me. But Learning Experience Designer is really what I do, just like Troy. Okay. Because our skill set's just a little bit wide in the variety of services that we're doing. Sonica said, same, Troy, but most organizations use different titles. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. And learning designer, that's another term, so it's just as our 5 years ago, I couldn't use Learning Experience Designer because people weren't searching for it. So again, that's going to help you on this journey define how you're going to call yourself. So we've basically looked at a number of things. We've looked at our brand message. We've looked at logos, etc. Let's just move on to, and that goes in line with creating the voice for your company. So I'm not a formal kind of person. I'm very informal in the way that I talk. And you want it to align to how you are. If you speak quite formally, that might work better for you. Okay. Creating a tagline. I wanted to talk about that. So again, I'm just going to come back to this page, and I'm just going to give you an example. Okay, so my tagline was creating authentic and powerful learning experiences. And I quite like this. It's helped me on my pages for like YouTube and LinkedIn, just explaining what I do. Okay. Angela's just jumped in here and she said, Currently building a new site. I used a free Google site to see if I would even have any luck on my own. I get lots of requests for work, so don't worry about spending lots of money in the beginning. Yeah, it's not great, but it's allowed me to move to the next level. Absolutely, Angela. You know, I mean, what I'd also say is, at the time that I built my website, there wasn't the Squarespaces out. Wix looked terrible at the time. Now it looks brilliant. You've got Webflow, you've got Google Sites. You know, Google Sites in the last year have upped their game. Their product is fantastic. So, you know, I think that you don't need to invest a lot. At the time, I use WordPress. So again, I'm going to do a video because I think it's something that's misunderstood a little bit, but Theme Forest is a product. I use a lot of Envato products, and Theme Forest was where I went to find my theme. And what I'd suggest you do is you go to WordPress and you go to popular themes and look and see what are being sold. So this is, if we have a look at this Avada, this is a very, very popular theme. Okay. You can see they've had 636,000 sales, right? So if you go into live preview, so WordPress doesn't cost anything. You download it, but you need to have hosting, okay? So let's have a look at this. Avada, you can have a look through some of the features, but I normally scroll down and I want to see a demo. What does this look like? Okay. And to some people, they'll go, oh, this is just way too complicated. Let's have a quick look. We got any demos? Maybe it's on this. Yeah. So the theme will actually come with the theme should come with a demo site. Why is there no demos? Stop that playing. Okay, where's the demos? Come on. That's pretty rubbish. I know there are demos because I've looked at them before. So let's just have a look at this one. Demos is what I'm after. Okay. So it's basically going to allow you to download WordPress and then import one of these demos. So if you like the look of any of these, let's just find one that might work quite well for a freelancer. Okay, so they're built in different things as well. Let's just say we do this Elementor agency. Okay, so it will allow you to download this whole theme and allow you to just make changes and remove what you essentially don't need. But this looks quite nice. You know, you might not need to have specialists because you may focus on just having a about page. So this looks like it's a one-pager. And that might be enough. Another great feature that Envato has is you can actually pay someone to install it. Pardon me. So, you know, for a minimal amount of, pardon me, I've got hiccups, amount of money, $39, you can essentially, let me have a drink. Purchase the theme and then go to Envato Market, have someone install it for you. For a very little amount of, you know, for a small amount of money, you can get something that looks great online. what I think a lot of people do, and I had a chap reach out to me, and this isn't in any way disrespectful. I just want to say that he'd spent a lot of time. He had bought a theme. Let's say it's something like this. He bought the theme and he imported the theme. But of course, when you import it, if you don't bring the demo content in, it's just a blank page. So he then started trying to rebuild the demo, but he couldn't get it looking the way it should be, because there's a lot of work that goes into these demo the demo content. And he reached out to me and he said, I can't get my website looking right. And I said, well, did you import the demo content? He said, no. And I said, well, do you want me to help you do that? And he said, no, because I've put in all of this time. And I said, well, but it looks bad. You should maybe think about, one thing that I've learned on my freelance journey is, instead of you trying to battle through doing something and spending hours and hours and hours on it, time is money. You're better just spending a little bit of money and getting someone to help you if you're struggling a little bit with this stuff, and you'll be on your way and you'll have a more fine-tuned product. Okay. Anyway, so that's my thing about websites. Now, we're kind of gone all over the place here, but I'm just going to get back to the tagline. So the tagline, again, will help a client coming to your website understand who you are and what you do. Okay. I think the last thing that I'm going to say to you guys on this topic, and remember, this topic isn't, it's not a done thing. I'm going to be talking every week now about freelancing. Okay. So I need you guys to let me know if there's specific topics that you're interested in me focusing on. I didn't really want to do a session and answer and kind of go off on tangents. I kind of have, but things like how to write a proposal. What do you do when a client reaches out to you? How can you basically create a pathway for clients to communicate with you? So I'm going to be doing a lot of episodes, standalone episodes. I may also be doing a Q&A, a regular Q&A that I'll answer any question, right? It's not going to have a defined topic. That might be a good opportunity for you as well. Okay, Sonic, a good question. Is freelancing different from contracting? Yes. Freelancing, so this is my interpretation of it. I have made the decision as a business that I don't work with other companies that contract. So let's say a recruitment company reached out to me and said, hey, I have a client, I'm just going to make one up, Adidas, that needs an instructional designer to work on a course. Are you available in the next 3 months? My answer is normally, because it's the case, I'm booked up 3 months in advance. So, and you'll find this when you go and you start freelancing, work will keep coming in and you're just going to have to stagger the work because you can't do it all at once. It's only yourself. So I call that contracting. So I don't work with companies to contract because A, they probably can't afford me because they're going to put a cut on top of my wage. And I don't want to work for less when I can be working, making my own money. Freelancing is me kind of calling the shots directly with the client. So that it's like working with a middleman is contracting. That is my interpretation of it. If I've got it wrong, but that's what I look at it as. So freelancing and contracting, is that what you're thinking, Sonica? Reply to me and let me know. So again, these are one of the decisions that you're going to need to make. In the beginning, I did contract because my rate was a lot lower. Okay. But again, I felt like it put the same restrictions on that I hated when I worked under other people. I'm still answering to somebody. I'm still having to deal with a project manager who can't manage out of scope properly. I'm working with teams like a developer, for example, who isn't has built something incorrectly, or it just ends up being a learning curve that you will make a decision. Either you could work with a contract. I know Troy does a bit of contracting work, and it works. It works well if you've got the right client. Sometimes you don't have the right client and it puts you off. So that would be, so Sonica said, although I am contracting directly with companies on fixed term contracts. Okay. Yeah. So that's different. It's not like a middleman. It's hiring you to do a bit of work, so there's agencies like Jampam that essentially would do that. They're a source that will get the work, but a lot of the time you don't have you don't have any say in, and I shouldn't say that about Jampam because I don't know, I've never worked for them, but any kind of recruitment company, a lot of them, you're going to have less of an opportunity to really do that needs analysis and do that work that you can define the right solution for the client. It's already been the decision has been made. You're just being hired to make it, right? Write the storyboard, create the module, etc. Troy saying, I'd agree with that definition. I think contracting is good to work out your way of working before jumping deep end. Yeah. And like I said, I started it. It's just the decision that I've made now. I don't need contracting. It's just coming in naturally. But sometimes it's a great way to get started. And as I said in the last episode about when it's time to quit, contracting gives you kind of it's like a safety net, isn't it? Allows you to kind of do some get your feet wet while you're still working. So if you haven't watched that episode, you might find that useful as well. Oh, Devlin Becker's here as well. Hi, Devlin. My view on contracting freelancing is that contractors are usually retained at a set number of hours, and sometimes they're treated almost like full-time employees. Freelancing is more about bringing a specific deliverable to life. Okay. That's a good definition as well. And Sonica just agreed as well. So I think, this has been a good little session. I hope that some of the tools have helped you guys out. Definitely when you're starting on this journey, guys, you have to think about your values and about yourself and what you want to put out there. For me, I wanted a change. I wanted to create higher end e-learning. I wanted that to be the impression in the way that I branded myself. Everything sends a message. And that's why I want to try and focus on this series, helping you guys know what's out there, know easy, even if it's showing you guys how to import demo content into a WordPress, anything that I can help. If you've got comments, if you've liked this episode, I should say, like it, please subscribe. Let me know what you liked. And, if you've got ideas for the series, pop them in the comments below and I'll happily I'll happily add them to my list. I've got a big, long list. I'm going to be sending out a lot more communication. I was talking to Devlin yesterday about this. He says, hi, Cath. I just hopped in at the end. We'll need to check out the replay. Okay, very good. I mentioned you a few times, Devlin. All good. So yeah, it's really about trying to help you guys know what's out there, know how you can do things. And, I think we have such a great opportunity. And for those of us that live and breathe our work, I talked to Devlin about this yesterday. I talk about this with Troy. I actually love my job. I think that it's so, I don't feel like I'm at work every day. I enjoy it. I love what I do. And if I can help you guys get to that point, then, you know, that'd be good. Help you guys out. Anyway, we'll wrap this up. Have a great evening for those of you who are tuning in from the United States. For those of you who are in Australia, it's our Friday. So I'm looking forward to the weekend rolling around, though I feel like weeks are just flying by. But great to have you guys tuning in. Keep killing it, guys. Keep getting out there and just grafting. I know that this is a scary thing, but I'm hoping that this series, I know Devlin's doing a lot of work as well in the same kind of space, to impart as much information as possible with you guys. We hope it gives you a bit of, encouragement to go and follow your dreams. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and have an awesome weekend. Bye now.